Welcome to CognitionChunks. This is Epic of the Ages, the languages that wrote the Bible. Asking: what were the original languages of the Christian Bible? Note: I am not an expert on this topic, just someone who is trying to learn from GPT. Original languages of the Christian Bible. The Christian Bible consists of two major sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Old Testament, primarily written in Hebrew, with some portions in Aramaic. The books of Daniel and Ezra, for example, contain Aramaic sections. New Testament, written entirely in Koine Greek, which was the common dialect of Greek in the Eastern Mediterranean during the 1st century AD. Translation to English for the King James Version. The King James Version, KJV, was commissioned by King James I of England in 1604. The translation work was undertaken by a group of 47 scholars, working in 6 committees, also known as the companies. The scholars were proficient in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic and were familiar with earlier English translations like the Tyndale Bible and the Bishop's Bible. The translation was completed in 1611. Some well-known scholars involved in this work were Lancelot Andrewes, expert in Hebrew and Greek. He presided over the Westminster Company that translated parts of the Old Testament. John Overall, he was the Dean of St. Paul's Cathedral and focused on the books of Exodus and Leviticus. Henry Saville, a scholar of ancient Greek who contributed to the translation of the New Testament. Areas of hotly debated translations. Isaiah 7:14, in Hebrew, the term used is Alma, which can mean a young woman of childbearing age. The Greek Septuagint and later, the KJV, translated it as virgin, and it has been cited in Christian theology as a prophecy about the virgin birth of Jesus. However, Jewish scholars argue that this is a mistranslation and misinterpretation of the Hebrew term and context. Psalm 22, famous for the line, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" The original Hebrew phrase can also be interpreted as, "Why have you left me?" or "Why have you abandoned me?" and the specific translation can influence the theological understanding of the text. John 1:1, the original Koine Greek phrase nu rho chi nu lambda gamma omicron, and arch en ho logos, is translated in the KJV as "in the beginning was the Word." The Greek term logos is rich in philosophical and theological meaning, and many believe that the English translation doesn't fully capture its nuances. Romans 9:5 concerns whether Paul identifies Jesus as God. The Greek can be interpreted in multiple ways, and different translations handle this passage differently, some affirming Jesus' divinity more clearly than others. Revelation, the apocalyptic imagery in the book has led to various interpretations over the years, many hinging on the specific English translations of Greek terms and idioms. The Lord's Prayer, especially the phrase "lead us not into temptation," has been a point of discussion. Does God lead people into temptation? The original Greek and subsequent translations are debated, including recent updates like the change made by the Roman Catholic Church to "do not let us fall into temptation." Understanding the original languages and the complexities of translation is crucial for any deep study of the Bible, as it can significantly impact interpretation and theological understanding. Alright, CognitionChunkers, you've just traveled through the linguistically intricate landscape of the Christian Bible's original languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. We've delved into the origins, the cultures, and even the dialects that helped shape what many consider to be the most widely read book in the world. But remember, language is not just about words, it's about the meaning, the culture, and the worldview they encapsulate. When reading the Bible or any translated work, keep in mind that what you're reading is an interpretation. Numerous scholars, scribes, and theologians have pored over these texts for centuries, often sparking debates that have lasted just as long. So, next time you encounter a puzzling or contentious verse, you'll have the toolkit to dig deeper. Was it a translation nuance? A cultural idiom lost over time? Or maybe a dialectal twist from a scribe hundreds of years ago? Now you've got the questions to find those answers. If you enjoyed this cognitive feast, hit the like button and consider subscribing to Cognition Chunks for more intellectual indulgences. Got a topic you're itching to explore? Drop a comment below or reach out to us on social media. We're always looking for new realms of knowledge to chunk down into bite-sized pieces. Until next time, keep those neurons firing and never stop questioning. Over and out, Cognition Chunkers. Remember, always challenge what you think you know, because the pursuit of knowledge is never ending. Now, that's what I call a cognitive chunk. Was this accurate? Did GPT just make up a bunch of stuff that does not exist or does not make sense? Find out next time in the Cognition Chunks follow-up.